So, this is kind of part of one of my Sgt Sassy videos. So, I just got to have one of those wonderful women appointments that, women love to have, let me tell you. The ones where you get to go see that lovely OBGYN that we love. And you get to go wrap up in that lovely blanket, which, I never really understood that, You wrap up in the blanket, and then you lay down on the bed, and what's the blanket really for? I mean, seriously, is it for my privacy? Because, you lay down, and then they get to look under the blanket and see everything anyway. So, I think really it's just for your own mental privacy. Because they get to see everything, and it's really just hiding all the torture instruments from you. So you don't have to watch them do all the little torture instruments as they mash and squish and investigate all the stuff. Yeah, so that was fun. Anyway, I bring that up, or I mention it, because I have PTSD for many reasons, and not just due to my service in the military. So, when I left my tech school and I went home and I got to see my family, when I got to Germany, I got to hanging out and having fun, and got to drink and see things that I had never seen before, and I had a blast. I loved it. Well, as my time went along, I made friends, and as I was talking to one of my friends, and we were hanging out in my room, and we were having a dorm party for whatever reason, because we always did. Once the weekend rolled around, it was party time, because as long as you're over the age of 18 in Germany, you can drink. And so I would get drunk, and I ended up becoming kind of like the bartender. I don't know. I had a ton of liquor in my room, and that was always fun, because the first sergeant would talk to me about my alcohol problem when it came time for room inspections, and then I would have to explain to her that I did not have a drinking problem, that I just used the alcohol to make mixed drinks for myself and my friends, and that, ma'am, I was fine. I did not have a drinking problem. I did not go to work drunk. I did not drink during the week for the work week, and so on and so forth. And so, yeah, that was always fun. So, yeah, I quickly learned to make sure that that stuff was locked away come room inspection time, so that I didn't have to constantly have that conversation. Not that it was an issue, or that I ever needed to lock it up, but it was just easier to not have those conversations. But anyway, I digress. So, as I was talking to my friends, and we were having parties and everything, she was talking about she wanted to go get a piercing in her nether regions. And as I was talking to her, I realized that, or I kind of, found out that the human mind is an interesting thing. And that, I realized that the depression and issues that I had gone through in tech school didn't start there. I realized that from 5th grade all the way through junior high and most of high school, I had suffered through a severe depression, and I didn't even know it. And as I was talking to her, I realized why I had suffered through that depression, why I had completely changed who I was, and why I had shut down completely and locked myself away from the world and became the person I was at that point in time in my life. And so we were talking about, getting piercings down there, and I was gonna go get a tattoo, but I was not brave enough to get anywhere near letting somebody anywhere near me down there. And so I was telling her that she was crazy for wanting to do that, and I realized that I was part of the #MeToo crowd, and that when I was a little girl I was molested, and that I had PTSD from being molested when I was a little girl, and that I had locked it away so well and buried it so deep that I didn't even know it until I was 20 years old and thousands of miles away from home. I never told my parents or anyone else. I never said a word. And it was a friend of my mom's, and it was their kids, their older boys, that did it. And I never said anything. I completely shut down. I was just a little girl. I used to wear dresses all the time, like my little girls do. And I was a cheerleader. I was in the pep squad. I was in gymnastics. I was in dance. I was in all kinds of stuff. And I was a preppy, crazy little girl. And then all of a sudden, as far as my mom saw anyway, all of a sudden, I was wearing my brother's clothes, big baggy t-shirts, baggy jeans. I didn't want nothing to do with nobody. I didn't want to be a cheerleader. I didn't want to be seen as a girl. I completely shut down and wanted nothing to do with anyone. And I locked myself away. I didn't want to go outside and play. I didn't want nothing to do with nobody. And when that wasn't enough, I learned to fight. I became the meanest girl I could be. I started working out to be tough. I started setting my sights on becoming a Marine. I was meaner than hell and strong. I was short and tough, and after a while I was seriously stacked. Like, I was strong, and I wasn't going to take nobody's crap. And my mom it got to where, like, my mom and I would argue all the time. And she used to ask me what happened to my sunshiny little girl. And I couldn't give her an answer. I couldn't tell her. Because I locked it up. And I didn't want to know. I didn't want to tell anybody. I didn't want anything about it to come out. I don't know why. I locked it away. So there I was. And I told my friend I needed to call my mom. That was the hardest phone call I ever had to make. And I had to call my mom and I had to tell her. I had to tell her, Mom, I finally know what happened to your sunshiny little girl. Because it was like all of a sudden it all came flooding back. Like it was yesterday. All the memories came crashing down on me. Like the box just opened up and all of it just dumped on me. And it was horrible. It was hard, but it was horrible for all of that to just come pouring out. And I had to close my door to my dorm room and lock everyone out. I had to close the bar, basically, and call my mom and tell her what happened. And tell her everything, who it was, everything, because she wanted to know. And I told her every gory detail, down to a T. And then she cried. And she told me she should have known. She should have seen it. And I told her, I don't know how you would have known. I didn't want anybody to know. Because I didn't want to have to live through it, I guess. I didn't want to have to go through all the legal process and all that horrible things that happen. And then I went home on leave. And I went by the boy's house. And I talked to his mom. I didn't tell her. But the worst thing possible was that she told me. She told me that both the boys were in jail. Because they were accused of molesting their own children. And I couldn't look her in the eye. And she kept telling me that they wouldn't do that. And I couldn't look her in the eye. And it breaks my heart because I can't. If I just said something, those little girls wouldn't be going through the same hell that I did. And it's my fault that I never said anything. And now I might have to live with that forever. And I will have to live with the fact that they might not be the only little girls before or after me. And I might not have been the first, I don't know. But I didn't say anything. So when she told me that, I was kind of like a kick in the gut. So then I realized that all through high school, or junior high and high school, when I had dark thoughts. I did. I never told anyone. But I wrote songs in junior high and high school, I wrote music. I wrote lyrics. And I have songs that are pretty dark. That are about suicide and overdosing on drugs. And, you know, when you have a dad that's a paramedic and you know about all the different things and the ways that things can affect you. I never did drugs, ironically. I never did drugs. I never tried to commit suicide. I never did any of it, but I have songs that talk about it as if I did. Because with my dad being a paramedic, I knew. They told me what that stuff could do, what drugs could do to you. You know, there were so many stories. And living in a small town, you hear the stories if somebody tries to do suicide or if they do drugs and things go bad. You find out. You hear the horror stories. So you know what happens. That is, oh my gosh, the things that people did or the things that happened. Yeah, there were reasons why I never did any of that. You know, and then to remember all of it. Because I'd locked it away. I just didn't want to remember any of it. And then to all of a sudden remember all of it. It was hard. And then to find out, oh my gosh, I have PTSD because of that. But then, once I faced it, I dealt with it. I accepted it. I moved on. It's hard when I bring it up, yeah, because there's that guilt that I feel, that there's still that pain that I feel, that I guess I will always feel. So, there's part of why I have PTSD. The other reason is because a friend of mine, died. I've lost a lot of friends. Lost a lot of friends. I've had a bunch of friends that were Marines, and some of them shipped off and they didn't come home. Had a bunch of friends in the Army. I have a bunch of friends that I've lost in the service. We all have. So you're not alone. We've all lost friends and family. So if you ever need someone to talk to, I got your six. I'll talk to anybody who needs someone to talk to. Because I've been through all kinds of hell. I mean, I was there when a friend of mine died. We've all lost friends and family. We don't need moves anymore. So you guys know, if you're home, you're here. Talk to any one of us. We're here. We're here for you guys. Any one of y'all. All of y'all. And if any of my friends from Musically come over here and watch my vids, I'm here for you too. I'll talk to any of y'all. If you need somebody to talk to, I'm more than willing to talk to any of you. I'm out for now. Deuces. Like and subscribe. That's all I can do for now because my heart is bleeding. Y'all have a good one.